Konami Studios.
Maestro Issue 3. This is becoming a classic story in the making that takes place in a time period that I'm not sure why it exists. I'm wondering why it took this long for Peter David to be like, I'm going to tell this story now. I feel like any time before this, he probably could have made it. Maybe Marvel was just like, nah, we want to wait. Maybe until Hulk's popular again because of Immortal Hulk, then we'll have you make your Maestro book. And I'm just like, release it anytime. This could have worked in the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s, but that's happening here. I think it's pretty good still. I really did enjoy this issue. It set up the future in a big way. We're starting to see exactly where this Maestro is going with our Hulk, and I like it a lot. I also like the news that we're getting another miniseries from Maestro called War and Pax coming in January, so we're going from this one straight into another one. That's pretty exciting. I think we'll cover that one too. So we start this book where we ended the last one. Hulk meets Hercules, who is using the name Maestro, and I always thought it was going to be Hulk who came up with the name, but I like here, Maestro is Hercules, and when he sees Banner, he's like, oh, you big guy, I love you, let's spar, and he just punches Hulk, and he's just pissed off, like, I don't want to fight, man. Why are we doing this? And Hercules beats him into a sewer, and suddenly these two randos just appear out of nowhere, and they're like, Hulk, come with us. Rick Jones wants to see you. So now you can kind of see Hulk's like, Rick is still alive. That's surprising. So he goes with them. And Hercules is like, aw, my buddy just left. He just got back and he left. I was just being nice to you, buddy. Come back. But Hulk goes to talk to Rick Jones and they have a very interesting conversation. You can see Rick is kind of just like, yeah, man, I'm glad you're alive. I didn't think you'd be here, but seeing you here, that's great. Look at all this stuff I have. Isn't this stuff great? I think it's great. And then this idea comes into place that we kind of saw with the Hercules stuff, how he's kind of a benevolent ruler. He could help everybody, but he chooses not to. He kind of whores himself around, drinks a lot in parties. And I like that Hulk is kind of just like, yeah, I would do the same thing. Like, humanity, normal people, as you would put it, and that's kind of like a big deal in this story, is that normal people are what destroy the world. It wasn't the villains, it wasn't the heroes, it was people themselves. Humanity itself is what destroyed the world. So why do they deserve a second chance if you know they're going to go down the same place? And Rick's response to that is like, yeah, well, normal people like Betty, like Marlo, like me, like you at some point, Bruce, like normal people achieve extraordinary things. You got to give normal people the credit they deserve. Like, normal people do some great things. Sure, they've destroyed the world, but they've also created some great stuff too. Like, a lot of things wouldn't exist if it wasn't for normal people. And that kind of changes Hulk's mind just like a little bit. He's still kind of at the point where he doesn't really want to help the world, and I understand that completely. Like, I didn't think it would be a surprise if he decided, like, yeah, I'm going to rule the Maestro style like Hercules, but we get some interesting stuff with that later. Hulk goes to this Alchemex facility, which I know that name from something. It's blanking on me. Is Alchemex in 2099? I think that's where I know that name from. I'm not sure, but that's cool. Like, that's fun. So he goes to this facility. He finds a bunch of these clones in an area called Lab Rats, and I'm not too sure who those are going to be clones of. We'll probably find out later what that's like. But this Hulk is just fed up with humanity. We saw it in previous issues that he just like, the world destroyed itself. These poor animals didn't know what was coming to them. Why are normal people out to destroy everything that's built and what they've built? And I think that's a really cool angle to take in this book. It's just something unique that you haven't really seen from Hulk, the sense of humanity and dread. And this overall, it's a weird thing, but it's kind of like a Shakespearean tragedy where this creature or monster who was built up to be the most feared thing in the world now is this reverence for the world that was created, and seeing what it destroyed, how it destroyed itself, and this monster who was hated now revels in this idea that humanity could have saved itself, but it chose not to. I think there's something pretty interesting about that story, and something about that I'm finding very interesting. This Hulk is really different than what we've seen before from him, and so I think that's a really cool angle to take. And of course, he gives his big speech as Hercules is still trying to figure out where his buddy went. He's about to sleep with this woman. His minister comes in and is like, your buddy Hulk's about to say some shit downtown. So they're just watching, and Hulk's like, normal people are insane. Y'all did some crazy shit, but you did some cool stuff too. You got us to the moon. That's fun. You know what else happened? You ruined a lot of things. You people deserve somebody who will treat you a certain way, good or bad, but I'll take care of you. I'll keep you safe. These are my These are my peace dogs. It's like, I'm going to release the hounds if you guys don't listen to me. And they're all like, we don't want Hulk leading us, you crazy lunatic. Why would we want you? So they all just kind of back away. And this is where we get like, this was kind of like the ultimatum, like Hulk kind of gives himself in this idea as like, all right, if they say no, hell's about to break loose and I'm going to kill a lot of people. So everyone doesn't want Hulk as their ruler. They want to stick with the way the new Maestro's acting of Hercules, but it's like, okay, release the hounds and the robotic dogs. What does he call them? Dogs of war. Very, of course, you know, unleash havoc and let slip the dogs of war, or let loose the I don't know. You guys know it. Let loose the dogs of war doesn't sound right, but either way, you guys know what I'm talking about. And it's just it's fun. It's a fun book. This is where we start to see Hulk become the Maestro and how he's kind of finally taking this identity of this crazy bastard who's going to kill humanity in a sense. And I think that's pretty fun. Fun issue, fun story. Again, I really like it. It feels like a timeless book. It definitely has some vibes of an older story, which I'm okay with because there's some modern parts of it that I like, but also some things about it feel very 1980s, and I think that's really cool. Just, it flows really well. It gives some great character to Rick Jones and Hercules while still being a great Hulk book. And overall, I think it's really fun. This series has turned out to be better than I expected, and I'm glad I picked it up and I started reading it. So Maestro number 3, I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.